And we've just fixed it. So, hello everybody, welcome to Full Time Devils. My name is Stephen Howson. This is the huge debate, and we are going to be talking about Jose Mourinho's striking options. Not just the options in terms of personnel, but the options in terms of the systems that he can deploy with the different sort and style of players that we can play in those positions. Today I'm delighted to be joined by Mr. Adam McKola, who's not going to be known as McKola apparently today, and Mr. Ben Pearce. How's it going, lads?
Yes, I'm good. Known as Anthony Marshall FC today.
Well, you just said you was God, so it's one or the other. Well, to be fair, you could be both.
He is close to being him.
Yeah. Okay, so the first thing we are going to talk about today then is the formation, the style, the tactics. How is Jose Mourinho going to line this team up? Do you think we're going to be flexible? Do you think we're going to have a married system? Do you think we're going to see a partnership, a forward three, one up front? Adam McKola, tell us, Steve, how you think this is
before we get into the serious stuff. If my eyes go down, it's because I've got this bad boy here, and I'm reading the live comments, by the way. So I don't want to hear no comments about Adam. Stop looking down. I'm looking at your comments. Go on, Ben.
Me?
I was coming to you first before you interrupted me. So go on. How do you think we're going to line up? One up front, three up front, two up front. How's it going to look?
You can't really say because it depends. If we had it depends on the opposition, doesn't it? I mean, last season against Chelsea, we went with like the 5-3-2 kind of thing with Jesse Lingard and Marcus Rashford up front, and it worked an absolute treat. And then we went with like a 4-2-3-1, but it wasn't against. It was a 4-3-3 against West Ham, and we had Mata and Pogba in the advanced roles. And I feel if we play a 4-3-3 with Mata in it, and we play a 4-3-3 with Herrera in it, even though we're playing the same formation, we're getting different styles of play out of the team. And I think it just depends on opposition. I think the 5-3-2 will come into use at times. I think the 4-3-3, the 4-2-3-1, I think it's just picking the right times when to play them. And it was interesting to see that Jose tried that new midfield with a little bit more of an attacking option in it, alongside the midfield too, rather than going with Herrera, Matic and Pogba. We went with a little bit more guile, and that was maybe one of the reasons why we did not suffer how we have suffered at home over the last couple of months. So it's hard to say. If we had we've got a game on Saturday, like for Swansea, I think we'll go 4-3-3. But if it was a big game, then, we could change things up. So it's not too fixed, which is very good. That's a very good thing to have at a football club. You don't want to be fixed into one way of playing. You want to be able to have a plan B, a plan C. And the beautiful thing with United is we can change formations during the game. A 4-3-3 can be a flexible 3-5-2 if you wanted it to be, if you work correctly. Now, we saw in the Super Cup, we kind of didn't know what we were doing. I expected us going into the game to play a 5-3-2, and then we saw the 11, and it was like a back four. And then we saw the game in the first 20 minutes, and Jesse Lingard was all the way back, and it was like a back five. So it was like, play the right players if we want to do that.
Okay, Ben, I think Adam's kind of touched on the fact that, and I agree, that we're going to be very fluid going forward, but I think one man's probably going to be the pinnacle of that, and I think that's Lukaku, innit? Who do you think's the most suited then, out of all that system-wise, or what system do you think is the most suited to get the best out of him?
I think it's hard in this debate not to sit on the fence. I think it's hard in this debate not to be wrong. The problem is there's so many different personal preferences with the way that we could line up, with the players we could play this season, that we're smart enough to do any system and play any out of all those forward players. For me, I like a solid back four. So whether that means a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, I prefer that over the three and then the wing backs personally. Although I do like the idea of Lukaku and Rashford partnering each other up top properly than one being out wide and one being down the middle. I think we've seen from the formation that we played at the weekend that even if Rashford is out wide, he is good at coming inside. He is good at making the runs in behind as well. Without branding players, and he was there giving his expert opinions of the game on Sunday, the way Henry gets in from the left and comes inside. I think Rashford is more than capable of doing that. The problem is people still see Rashford as a second striker, and I don't quite understand it in terms of he's the one on the bench to replace Lukaku during a game. As you've mentioned so many times, Rashford played the most last season out of anyone. He's a first-team regular now. Whether that's out wide or up top, I know he went up top after Ibrahimovic got injured, but he's always in that side. He's adaptable to playing out wide and up front on his own. And I think that whole partnership between Mkhitaryan, I love Mata as well. It's so difficult. Do you go for the 3-1 so that you can play Mata, Mkhitaryan, Rashford, and Lukaku on the same side, or do you go 4-3-3 to get more width with Martial on one side, Rashford on the other side, and Lukaku up top? It's a really difficult one. I would personally go with the 3 up top, but it's tough because then you're missing the magic from Mickey and you're missing the magic from Mata as well coming inside because you want them to keep wide.
Yeah, I think it's a conundrum that we've got, but it's a conundrum that's in our favour. It's not one of those.
It's a nice one.
We can't find anything that works. We've got loads of things that work. It's the opposite problem of constantly changing formation to figure out what works. We can constantly change formation depending on what the tactical requirement for us to do that is. Now, if we look at the current squad, we actually have a lot of strikers, and some of them are definitely not going to feature in the first team. Forwards and strikers that we've got at the club, according to the United website, is Mata, Lukaku, Martial, Lingard, Rashford, Mkhitaryan, and James Wilsinho. So out of all of those lot, who do you think is going to be the one to partner Lukaku? Who do you think is going to be the one that we see starting, not necessarily alongside him, but just out of all those forwards, who's going to start the most with Lukaku? Because I think Lukaku is first name on the team sheet alongside Pogba. Possibly Matic now.
I think it'll be Rashford, you know. Rashford.
Marcus Rashford has overtaken the likes of Mata and Mkhitaryan.
No, because there's a place for all of those in a team. It's not like we have to. They may be classed as forwards, but they're not that. We haven't got really any out and out wingers. Let's be honest there. I think the ones that play wide are, you know, Martial, Mkhitaryan, and they can drift centrally, they can stay out wide as well, but they're not out and out wingers. I think out and out wingers are kind of dead now. There's very few of them in the world. So it's all these inverted forwards and all that. So, but I think you get caught up in saying, look, on the weekend you saw how gutted I was to see Martial not starting.
Oh, you never mentioned.
And I was really gutted because he's one of my favourite players. No, just a little bit.
Yeah.
I haven't got a tattoo of him or anything, I promise. I was really gutted to see him not start. But then Rashford started and he put in a great performance. And I love to see Marcus Rashford start. And I think we're not always going to see our favourite players start. But I think it's up to Jose Mourinho this season to balance the squad properly. I think last season there was a proper imbalance in who was playing and who wasn't playing. We had about 5-6 members of the squad that had played less than 5 games, and then we probably had like 7 members of the squad that had played in every game, and there just wasn't any balance in who was coming in and who was coming out of the team. Now, I don't think we should make wholesale changes every single week, but I think we should be rewarding people. Like Martial last season, he would come and get a goal, and then he wouldn't be starting any games. Reward him now. He's come in, scored a goal, got an assist. Reward him with a start. Let him build his confidence. And I think you've got to be able to rotate the team. A little bit difficult with Lukaku playing up top. And then when we play Rashford out wide, I was thinking, okay, if Martial comes on in a wide position and we need to change Lukaku, let's touch wood. But God forbid he got an injury during a game or he had to come out of a game. I don't know, something happens, he has to come out. If Rashford's on the pitch, who's going up top? So then we have got a little bit of a lack of depth when both Rashford, Lukaku, and then maybe Martial comes on. If all of those are playing, we've got no depth in that number 9 position, which is why Zlatan coming back will be a big boost for us. But I think we're not going to... You mentioned all those forwards. There could be a game where Mata plays in the midfield 3, Mkhitaryan starts out wide, Martial starts, and Lukaku starts, and then it's just Rashford on the bench. So we've got to just take our time. But as long as Jose Mourinho juggles the squad properly, I think we've got enough options there for there to be A, good competition for places, B, for us to have enough goals in his team, and C, to be able to change it up when we need to.
I think he was right on with the comment about there's a lack of out-and-out wingers in the game, not just at the club, but in the game at the moment. There's not... If I said to you how many like traditional, hit the byline throw, crossing winger that you know of. I mean, we know of Perisic recently. Stop shouting. We know of Perisic recently because of the fact that we've been linked with him so much, so we've been checking him out. But there's not too many in the game. I think a lot of it came down to the fact that Spain and Barcelona had so much success with playmakers that come inside the way they do. The likes of Juan Mata, obviously not a Barcelona product, but that sort of advanced playmaker, and that's what United have got at the moment. We've got wide forwards who come in for themselves, and we've got playmakers like Mkhitaryan and Mata. So I think you bang on there in terms of the type of position, but I do think a traditional winger, especially considering we've got an almost traditional number 9 up front, would be very beneficial to us. Ben, what do you reckon?
Yeah, you're spot on about the lack of wingers, but I also think that one thing that we have got at the club, and hopefully she'll be back fit soon and in the side, is a couple of not wing backs, but a couple of a right back and a left back that can get down the wing, overlap, and put a ball into the box, and that's what we need to see. I think Valencia done it a few times at the weekend, where he's actually looking at him in pre-season and looking at him at the weekend, he has clearly been given instructions to get the ball in the box more and to improve his delivery as well. And I think that's one thing we could benefit from if Mata or Mkhitaryan is playing out on the right-hand side. Another point is, you're right about Rashford and Martial. That's my worry with putting them in the same team together with Lukaku. There's no one on the bench to come on fresh legs. Even if you just need to change it around and there is no injury, there's no fresh legs there. And you're right with Ibrahimovic coming back, but then is he going to be happy on the bench? He's not, is he? So it's a case of, I think,
this is a 36-year-old that's just got back from a serious injury. If he's not happy on the bench, he needs a slap. He needs to recognise
biggest ego in world
football.
No,
but he's not going to be coming back to Manchester United thinking, I know, I'll go straight back into the starting 11.
No, you're right. You are right, but there's got to be a plan. There has to be some sort of plan there, and I think that's why we're still trying in the 3-5-2 to see if there is an opportunity to play maybe Rom and Ibra up top together. I don't know if it would work. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not even sold on the formation myself, personally. As I said, I like a solid 4 at the back. But there's still plenty of options, and there's plenty of options to get around the fact that there are a lack of wingers at the club. And if we don't bring in a Perisic, and we'll move on to the people that we'd like to see at the club in a second, but there are options. And even Herrera, if we're going to go with the same sort of formation like we did, then there's still a chance to go into the 4-3-3 that even Mkhitaryan or Mata have dropped for Herrera. So there's plenty of options inside. But yeah, the lack of wingers, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because we've always been used to watching wingers in football, and now suddenly there's hardly any about.
Shall I tell you what killed wingers? Killed wingers? The central defensive midfielder. Everyone started playing a central defensive midfielder. And then we stopped playing a 4-4-2, which saw the lack of an actual winger. And then everyone wanted to be a number 10 because there was a number 10 position, which was like the go-to position for everyone to play. So then we had these kind of flare inverted wingers that wanted to play number 10, but they could drift out wide if they wanted to. And we never had nobody that really came through, probably looking at the likes of the Beckhams and that and thinking, I want to be a winger. I want to hit that byline. I want to be out there wide. We don't have
the inverted winger completely killed the traditional byline winger.
It was all stems from the central defensive midfielder and that Makaleli role bollocks. Killed football, killed the World Cups as well. We saw a world champion score 7 goals. Who the hell does that? And they were supposed to be exciting. They weren't. Talk about Spain, by the way.
Right, I'm going to play devil's advocate here a little minute. Definitely playing devil's advocate because I think you all know my feelings on Lukaku. But is there a way that Lukaku doesn't start every week? Is there a way that there's another way with our team and our squad that we can play and get goals? Is there a way to rotate him out when we need him to be fresh for a bigger game, perhaps? Is there a preferred setup you would like to see without Lukaku, Ben?
Well, not really preferred, but the option's there to make Martial the second striker and make sure that he starts when Lukaku doesn't. I think that's maybe Mourinho's general plan, whether Anthony's happy with that, whether McKola's happy with that. I think that is the plan going ahead, that he will be the second striker and he will be coming off the bench, whether that's to cover a wide position or to go straight up top. That's going to be his role this season. So I think that's the other option. Rashford is going to be... he may be used up top now and then, but I think Mourinho's going to want to start him. And the position which we need him, and the position that is vacant at the moment, is that left wing, really. And he is the player to do that, and he showed that, as I said, at the weekend. So the other option is Martial up top. And to be honest, when he first arrived and he played up top, he banged in the goals. He hasn't had a frequent run there since, and I'd like to see him up top. And maybe the cup competitions is there for him to maybe go on a run and score some goals and see if he can cement a place in the side. But I can't see... You don't go and spend that money on a Lukaku and think about the amount of promise he has for him then to be benched and for a whole different system to come into play. It's going to be around him.
Clearly playing devil's advocate. I'm just wondering if there's God forbid, something that does happen, have we got depth? Have we got options aside from him? Or have we lumped on, a little bit like we did last season with Zlatan as our number 9, have we lumped on that Lukaku's our number 9 and he's going to play every week? Adam, what do you reckon?
I think so, yeah. Jose likes to have a reliable spine to his team, and I think Lukaku, Pogba, probably Bailly and David De Gea are that spine, and Matic as well, sorry. So I think those players will more often than not be starting. Now, in terms of, I'm seeing a lot of comments saying a front three of Martial, Lukaku and Rashford, and that would mean Rashford coming in for Mkhitaryan on the right. And I think that would be great at home sometimes against some of these mid-table sides. But I don't think we'll see it as much. You guys have just been discussing whether Lukaku will be not dropped from the number 9, but rested or rotated. And I don't think that will happen until Zlatan comes. And I don't think we will get to see much of Lukaku, Martial and Rashford in a front three together because of the thing that I was discussing before. I think Jose will always go for either Martial and Lukaku and Mkhitaryan, or Rashford, Lukaku and Mkhitaryan, or Martial, Lukaku and Mata, or something like that, where he's keeping one of those 3 on the bench. So then he's always got one of those 3 to come on and replace one of them if he needs to.
You're lacking changes in
I don't think, because when he spoke about his strikers in pre-season, he said, and he was talking about Martial's future, he said, I rely on Lukaku, I rely on Martial, I rely on Rashford. So he was talking about those 3 as his number 9s. And I think, yes, Rashford and yes, Martial will start games out wide, but I think we will very rarely see all 3 of them play together and start together. Maybe we will once or twice, but I don't think it'll be a regular thing until Zlatan comes back.
Right, I'm going to come to the comments. We've got a few comments from you guys. Tokenator says Rashford up in 2 up top with Lukaku. I think that could work very well. You saw Rashford was a more advanced forward than Lukaku in the recent game. And obviously, Rashford laying on the assist for Lukaku as well with a wonderful ball. I mean, that was an absolute gift of a ball that he gave him for that first goal and a brilliant finish as well. Vaz says Zlatan, the new number 10. I don't think he's mobile enough to be a number 10. I think you've got to get him in the box, getting on the
No, he means shirt number.
Yeah, I think he means shirt number.
All right, yeah, you probably are right, actually. Right. Yeah. I mean, I can't believe how much emphasis people place on the shirt numbers, to be honest. It's whatever, innit? Fred the Red, 55.
Give him 99.
George says Mata should play more games. Very good player. I completely agree. I think these lads would agree as well. He is an absolute joy to watch him. There was that ball that he took in the 6-yard box against West Ham where he might as well have caught it. I couldn't have caught it with my hands better than he controlled that with his foot. That was absolutely ridiculous. Beautiful touch. Adnan says, get McKola to dab. Can we block that? There's none of that on here. I don't think so. Right, we're going to see a 30-second advert, possibly. I think some of you guys in the States have been seeing it, but no one else has been seeing it, so let's have a look at that. Yeah, brilliant. Go buy some of that.
Can I just say, how Duck just said, Martial's got to smile to start. Go and tell Roy Keane that.
Yeah. I'm sick of that, the attitude people have about who smiles and who doesn't smile.
The video of Phil Jones grabbing hold of his head, telling him to smile. Did you see it? That was quite
I like that.
He had a good game, by the way.
Phil Jones did have an excellent game.
Yeah.
We're talking about strikers.
I told you that in the preview.
Zip it.
Bailly and Jones.
Ben. Right.
Sorry.
Rumours. We're going to talk about rumours. Zlatan could be coming back. Seems extremely, extremely likely that Zlatan's going to be signing a new deal with Manchester United. We've also heard about the Griezmann rumours, and I definitely believe that we was trying to get Griezmann to play alongside Lukaku, which I think was the genesis of the 3-5-2 idea in Mourinho's head, which is terrifying for opposition. Not terrifying for us. Perisic looks like he could come in as a left winger. There's still a little bit of time left in the window for any of those things to happen, I guess, really, including Zlatan. What do you think? Who would you like to see? Is there anyone that's an obvious candidate to come in and make this forward lineup a little bit better for United? Bale, maybe?
Well, the thing I love about Mourinho since he's taken over is that he's not just targeting a group of players to come in. He's targeting 3 or 4 key players every summer to come in and make a real difference. It's like he's setting up his own sort of Galactico side that he really wants to see, and he's also pushing forward, as you said, with a 3-5-2. We've got the spine there now, so if he's looking to sort of adapt that spine to a 3-5-2, there's no wonder why he was playing it in pre-season, and he is giving it the time of day. Griezmann would be a phenomenal signing. Him playing that sort of sweeper role behind Lukaku and running off of him and just doing all that work in and around Lukaku would be incredible. And Gareth Bale, for me, if we're going to go with a solid 4, you add Bale to your side, and there's your winger. There's your left-sided winger, and you're sorted, and you're taking home the majority of everything. I think Bale is so good, and his Premier League experience as well. If I could pick one, it probably would be Gareth Bale. But then the worry with Bale, injuries. And you can't afford to spend the money. Well, you can, but you don't want to spend the money on someone you're going to see on the sideline more than you're going to see in the side. So let's see how he gets on this season. He might be a possible for next season, but then if we're going to target Griezmann next season, then you're not going to go for both of them, are you? So I think it'd be one or the other. But Gareth Bale,
I have no
for
idea.
me.
Looking at the money that gets flung around at the moment, I have no idea. Yeah, let's say, and Messi as well. Yeah, whatever.
True. Yeah, why not? And Ronaldo, he's definitely coming.
Adam, any of these rumours that you think likely to happen, that you would like to happen?
Tony Marshall to start a game's a rumour I'd like to happen.
No, it's not going to happen.
Just throwing that out there. I've heard if you speak things into existence, might happen, innit? So, yeah. Transfer signings, I don't think we're going to sign anybody, to be totally honest with you, this summer. I think Lukaku and Matic are probably the last of it. And I don't think we need to sign somebody. Obviously, if someone is available, if Pearce was to come available before the window closes, although it seems like he's going to sign a contract. If Bale was to come available, then sure, go for it. These are players that would definitely improve us. But I don't think we need to be rushing, and I don't think Jose Mourinho is the kind of guy to be making panic signings or making signings that he wouldn't necessarily make just because the window's coming near to an end. I've read a story today where it says that he might be happy to wait until January to get his fourth signing. And I think that would be a big boost to some of the other players in the squad, because then they will notice that there's a gap there. We could maybe make Jose Mourinho change his mind. Andreas Pereira, could he get an opportunity? I was laughed at this summer when the Griezmann move fell through. I tweeted, this could be a huge chance for Andreas Pereira now, because he could play in that kind of role. Now I know Jose's put him in a 6 and an 8 and a little bit of a deeper role. But I think someone like Andreas Pereira, who's just come back, he said he has no intention of going out on loan again. I think he could benefit from us not signing someone like Perisic or Bale or, someone like that. He could really benefit from that. And these next 6 months for him, look, Jose could wait up, see whether he needs to make a signing. And I don't think it would be that bad if we did put a little bit of faith into someone like Andreas Pereira to become a member of the squad. He can play in one of the wider positions. We've seen him do that. And what I enjoyed about pre-season was he played in all of his roles. So Jose tested him in every role, and in every role he impressed. I mean, he's so confident on the ball. He's very good with set pieces. He's another one that he's a proper baller, yeah. And I think he would be able to play football at any club in the world. I'm not saying he would start for any club in the world. Don't be stupid. But I think he would be a talent at any club in the world, and I think every club in the world would try and slowly bed him into their team. And I think Manchester United need to do that because he's an incredibly gifted player.
Do you know what you just said about the opportunity for Pereira if we don't sign someone? On Time Up the other day, it come up 2010 or 2011, and I wrote something like 88 million for Wes Sneijder. I don't want him. I would rather give Cleverley or Pogba the opportunity and see what they could do. Well, I was half right, wasn't I?
Cleverley played an inspiring role in getting Watford a point at the weekend. So, well done to him.
Do you know what you said a minute ago about transfer fees? And obviously we were speaking about Perisic. I'm not 100%, even though the rumours would make you think that we are completely obsessed with a guy and we do want to bring him in, but we're holding over a transfer fee. Do you really think for 48 million that United would be holding over a transfer fee for a player that Mourinho really, really wants?
I think it's a principle thing. I read something along the lines of, we was quoted one price a bit ago and that's changed. And they think we're trying to screw them over because of the financial fair play. We think they're trying to screw us over and get a bit more. So I think it's more of a principle and ego thing. But I think if Jose Mourinho was like, listen, Ed, stop messing around, go pay that right now, let's get him in. I'm sure he'd be on a plane heading over to Manchester. So I do get the impression that, I don't like the word smokescreen because people are saying Morata was a smokescreen for Lukaku. I totally disagree that he was. I think that we was earnestly going for Morata, but Lukaku was our first choice. And I think that we've probably done that with several players. You've seen how many different players that we've been linked to. Michael Keane was linked with us and Lindelof signed. Maybe that we're just negotiating with multiple players and multiple different clubs for multiple different positions. And I think that we're looking at probably our final one now as being a left winger, but I'm not sure that it is because there's also talk of multiple left backs that we're dealing with as well. So I wouldn't
Right
be shocked
backs
to
as well.
see someone, and right backs. So I wouldn't be shocked to see somebody else come in that isn't a left winger, actually. But let's go into the wild card bet. Go on, mate. What's
Before you go, do you think it could be that, after the last couple of summers where Ed Woodward's kind of made not last summer, but there's been windows where he's made a massive cock up of it and we've chased someone and then ended up empty-handed. It could be a case that the club have simply started negotiating with first choices, started negotiating with second choices, and then ended up being cruel to players like Michael Keane, saying...
Well, I know for a fact that's how it went down with Morata. Morata was certain that he was coming to United, telling people he was coming to United, and then the next day, Lukaku
he phoned
gets
Steve,
pulled out of nowhere.
guys. Morata phoned Steve. He was like, I just dyed my hair red, mate, son.
Don't say things like that, because there's some cranks in the comments who were like, knew it.
Well, Michael Keane even said that he was talking to United. So United were clearly talking to his agent. So there clearly was, not smoke screens, but there clearly was discussions happening. There's always discussions happening. I just think Mourinho's first choice is Bale. I really do. I think if he could pick any of the two, I think he would go Bale.
Yeah, I could see that, actually. I could see
Perisic.
Perisic and Bale being negotiated at the same time. And if we think there's an inkling that we're going to get Bale, we're going to drag Perisic out. Because if you look at the way it was reported with Morata, it was like, deal done by this weekend, deal done by Monday, deal done by weekend, deal done in a couple of days, 48 hours, all that sort of stuff. And it was like, it's only a couple of million, pay it. And then it appeared like we had agreed on the fee, and then Lukaku comes out of nowhere. So yeah, I think if you just look at what's just happened with this one, I think there's a very real chance that we are negotiating with Inter about Perisic, but we're not pushing, foot to the floor on it, because we think we might be able to get somebody else. And that somebody else might have been Neymar. That somebody else might have been Bale. I'm sure if the fact that Neymar was moving, we would have been in the conversation.
For Neymar.
I would have thrown up in my mouth, definitely. But
we've got 1,000 people watching, and we've not got much likes. So tell the people to do something about it.
Well,
please.
you just have done. So if we get 1,000 likes in the next 5 minutes, Adam's going to shave his beard off and just have like a George Michael mustache circa 1998. Okay, so we're going to go to the comments from you guys, and let's see what you guys have got to say. Louis Clark says, we don't need Perisic because of Marshall. Louis, I've got to disagree with you, mate. We're not going to get Perisic to play ahead of Marshall.
1,000 likes to just goals.
He's ready to go. He's absolutely ready to go. Get smashing that like button. Smash it. Hit it.
1,000 likes.
Hit it like a pogger in a bar. Get it nailed.
Everything.
Right.
Do one eyebrow.
Perisic isn't going to take Marshall's place, per se. Perisic is another option. You look at, like we said earlier, people that can cross the ball, traditional wingers, it's a different style of playing. You've got to think of a squad as the alphabet, and sometimes you need to spell Kushak, and you've got to start throwing Zs and Ks in there. That's what Perisic is. He's a different option for us.
A-S-Z-U-C-S-Z.
You like that, don't you? Use that in your life. Right, next comment that we've got. Did Ben's SMSJS, Anthony Marshall for Prime Minister. Can French people be English Prime Minister? I'm not sure that's how it works. But
we got Germans as king and queen, so
Marshall to become king of England. Whoa, this has just escalated really fast. Paul Wade, I don't think any more signings will come in now. The squad is so exciting. Do we really need another? I can see the need, and I think you guys agree that we could see the need for someone on the left. Left back especially seems a little bit up in the air for me at the moment. Until we see Luke Shaw come back. Luke Shaw could come back and just own it, but until he comes back, I think it's up in the air. That's all I can say at the moment. You've still got Demi Mitchell could come stake a claim for it. You've still got Rojo could stake a claim for it, although I don't really like him at left back. Daley Blind, whatever. How many likes we're looking at? Does he need to start charging that shaver up or what? George Michael Mustache, you have to leave the soul patch at the bottom as well, though. George says, could Fellaini be our special weapon on the bench as a centre forward? Whoa.
I've heard it been called a weapon before, but
it's not very sharp, is it, though? Ben, what do you reckon? Is it an option for Fellaini as a centre forward off the bench?
No, where did he go up front? Was it for Moyes' first? What was it? It was that game against Valencia pre-season, Moyes' first game at Old Trafford, and Valencia came on and nodded it in. Didn't it? Was it Valencia? Was it against Valencia? I can't remember. Moyes, it was either Moyes or Van Gaal chucked him on in the first game at Old Trafford against some foreign club, and it went in. Why not? The tree can play anywhere. It'd be better than someone's just mentioned. Oxlade-Chamberlain would be an amazing addition. So
where's this Oxlade-Chamberlain hype coming from at the moment?
I don't know.
It'd be a good squad addition, Oxlade. Isn't it funny though? Isn't it funny that after Sanchez and Arsenal, I think Oxlade-Chamberlain is one of their better players. But it's quite funny that one of their better players would come and only be good enough for our bench, if that.
He's not taking anyone's starting place, is he?
Did he go in and scored ahead of Lingard for you, Adam?
I think nah. I think
for three reasons.
I think Jose would want him as a wing back.
If you know the three reasons, comment the three reasons.
Jose would want him as a wing back.
Is it through and through? He's an academy product. We don't have to get rid of him when Brexit happens. Anyway, one little line now on a wild card. So just don't go around the houses. Just give me this guy for this reason. If you could bring in anyone to that forward line, doesn't have to be a number 9, doesn't have to be a winger, anyone that improves that forward line, Adam, who and why?
Who improves it?
Can we play
Oh my God.
Anthony Marshall.
I should have seen it coming.
Timothy Fosu-Mensah.
Yeah,
1998 vintage Ronaldo.
Yeah, Ooh. Ronaldo at Inter Milan, yeah?
Yeah.
Is that what we're talking?
Yeah.
Or which
I guess that. Yeah, do you know what? We'll go with that. We'll go with historical as well if you want. I don't think that was what we wanted. That's what we're having. How about that? You guys comment. Who would you like to see?
If I could sign any player, it would be
Gerd Muller.
See, I would say Gareth Bale, but then it just means less game time for Martial.
Oh my God!
It's Manchester United Football Club, not Anthony Marshall Football Club.
What did I say at the start of the video?
You're wrong.
If I could sign any player, it would be Gareth Bale. I think if we signed Gareth Bale, it would turn us. I think we would have to manage his games, and I think Jose would do that. And I think with having someone like Martial there, you'd be able to do that. But I think Gareth Bale would immediately turn us into Premier League champions, and also push us very far in the Champions League too. So I think Gareth Bale could be that kind of signing that if you were to make it, I don't think we will make this, by the way, guys. I've just been asked for a wild card. You'll see that at the top it's called wild card. This isn't called realistic transfer of the summer card. So yeah, Gareth Bale, he would turn us into Premier League champ. I have no doubt if we sign Gareth Bale between now and the close of the window, we will
don't go around the houses.
win the title.
Ben, nice, clear and concise shot.
Adam over the last 2 weeks has predicted we're going to win the quadruple and we're going to sign Gareth Bale. Clip it up. I'm going to go for. I didn't know what mine would be Bale, but I'm going to just switch it up and say Griezmann because I think that Griezmann would be the ideal player to partner Lukaku.
Can we bring back partnerships again? I grew up watching partnerships. Partnerships are mint.
Partnerships are great, but then the only problem with that is
Sutton and Shearer, Mulder and Scully. It's all about partnerships, mate.
Magnet and Steel.
Yeah.
We don't start doing those.
Wheels
again.
and a leg, man.
There's no place for duos on this show. Right?
Tom and Jerry.
What we
Itchy and Scratchy. Fellaini and Van Gaal.
Can 1,000 people like this video, please? Just to get rid of that.
How many likes are we on? Actually, how many likes are we on? Because someone give me a tally on the likes.
580, I think. We're not
580. We have 420 likes from seeing Adam McKola with a George Michael mustache. It needs to happen live.
Are we adding the Facebook likes and the YouTube likes together?
Oh yeah, are we adding the Facebook likes as well, please?
Ren and Stimpy.
We need to add these up. No, but anyway, I would go Griezmann. The only sad thing with that is, you know, Martial and Rashford are going to suffer game time, but there we go. McKola might cry.
Do you know what no one's mentioned? Alexis Sanchez. Alexis Sanchez is a guy that would probably make us Premier League champions, I think. Certainly make us more of a threat in Europe. Plays on that left-hand side and takes Marshall's place, potentially. But he's obviously a player that's also looking to move as well. Maybe the reason that we're stalling is Alexis Sanchez. I personally
comes inside 4 times a not though, doesn't he? We want players to hit the bar line.
Howson just confirmed Sanchez to Manchester United. Guys, it is on. Go and get your T-shirts printed. Sanchez number 7.
Sanchez 7. You heard it here first.
620, by the way, on YouTube.
Who is number 7 at City? I don't know. Who cares? Right, I've got to make a decision. Really, there's not really been much argument. I think we've all been in quite agreement that United, let's say we are the winners as Manchester United because we've got a really good squad with good depth, good options.
And we've got Anthony Marshall.
We've got Anthony Marshall apparently. So, yeah, what do you guys think? You guys let me know in the comments. What do you think is our best striking options? Do you want to see with a settled 1, 2 or 3 up front? Are you happy with a settled system? Anything like that in the comments. Or are you happy with us being fluid? And just comment something about Anthony Marshall so Adam can smile as he reads through them all later. I don't think we got 1,000 likes. We're going to have to try it again on the preview, maybe. If we get 1,000 likes next time he's on, I think we're going to do it. Tell your friends. I want to see him with a George Michael mustache. I think that'd be absolutely fantastic. We got a podcast coming up this week. It's going to be me and Webby. It's out on Friday. Make sure you check it out because I think we're going to be dropping some absolute knowledge in there for you. So thank you guys for joining us. Go give these guys a follow on Twitter. Subscribe because we're trying to get to 500k by the end of the season. And there's balls and red beards on the line and all sorts of stuff. So yeah,
balls?
see you in a bit.
Why is there balls on the line?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Your
I'll tell you in a bit.
balls on the line, mate.
Laters.